Okay, so our next construction is going to be very, very similar to our last construction, except that instead of when we connect alternating points to make a triangle, we're going to connect all the intersections to make a hexagon. And in fact, we're going to wind up making a regular hexagon, which means all the sides and all the angles will have to be congruent to each other. So again, we're going to start at the center. This time I'm going to call it M. I'm going to give myself a decent sized circle to work with. I'm just going to do that because it's going to make my measuring easier later on when I have to measure all the angles. So I'm using the outside hole on my compass tool. Remember, keeping it nice and tight there. And now not moving the measurement portion at all. I'm going to give myself a nice point on the circle, anywhere I like. I'm going to label it A. And now we're going to start with our swipes. Again, remembering not to move your construction piece. Okay, at this point, I'm going to make a swipe. I'm going to label that intersection as B. Moving my way around the figure. Using the same hole each time. Not changing the size of the hole. Coming down to here, connecting, labeling the intersection. And I keep turning my paper as we go, just making it easier for myself to do the work. Remembering to use the outside hole, not the inside hole. You just have to be consistent. This is why pencil is your best option. Okay, once I get all the way back, remembering this mark should not be here. It was an error on my part. Okay, so now we're just going to connect the dots, also known as the points, around the figure, creating my regular hexagon. You will have a bit of measuring to do. And I'm going to start with measuring my sides. Again, I'm going to measure in centimeters. And this time from A to B, I have about 6.7. Please remember to measure accurately. To grade your projects, I will be measuring your segments as well and verifying your work. This is about 6.8. And this one's about 6.8. Okay, now all of my angles should all be the same measurement, and they should all be 120 degrees. This one's perfect 120. As is this one. Notice I'm putting my single swipes as for my angle marks as I'm going through. This one was about 119 degrees. Now remember, as long as you're within a degree or two, you may call them congruent. 120 degrees. And my last measurement. Well, this one looks like 121. Okay. Not forgetting to put my tick marks on each side. Single marks all the way around. And last but not least, my congruent statement on the bottom. This time we have segment AB is congruent to segment BC, which is congruent to segment CD, which is congruent to segment DE, which is congruent to segment EF, and last but not least, AF. And all of our angles. Angle A is congruent to angle B, it's congruent to angle C, it's congruent to angle D, it's congruent to angle E, and last but not least, angle